Oh, it is. It is a Monday episode of Donno Daily here on the Five Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno, taking you for the next hour or so. All of our heads are spinning. We are following, we are tracking NFL free agency, the negotiation period, aka the legal tampering period, opened up less than 2 hours ago. Huge welcome into those watching us live at about 1:45. Those watching us later on YouTube, I hope that the world hasn't completely changed by the time you watch this, because I get it, throughout the day there's going to be players signed. Maybe some of the things that I'm talking about right now may no longer be relevant an hour from now, 2 hours from now, 3 hours from now. So bear with us. But I will ask that if you're in here right now, whether you're with us live or you watch us later on the YouTube replay, do us all a solid and smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to Five Reasons Sports on YouTube if you haven't already. So, yeah, it's 1:45. Dolphins have already made a couple of moves. We will talk about them. We will also talk about the moves that they didn't make over the weekend because, when I finished my show live last Friday in the afternoon, the NFL looks very different than it did even 3 days ago, with some of the players who have been traded, some of the players who have come out of retirement, players who were cleared from criminal charges, criminal, not civil. We'll get more into that. So the NFL world is very, very different since we were last on. But here's what the Dolphins have done so far today. I think we're off to a positive start. I think we're off to a very positive start. Still, though, what I'm going to be watching out for the next hour while I'm here, and actually, let me ask this, guys. You can be my eyes and ears as well. If you see news about a big-time free agent dropping in Miami or anywhere else, let me know, because you guys might see it before I do. And I want to put that bat signal out there for all of you to help me out. If you see a move made, let us know in the chat, because I think the Dolphins are at least going to make a legitimate run here today. They may be working on an offer as we speak for Teron Armstead, the offensive tackle from New Orleans, who's an unrestricted free agent. We'll be watching out on the trade front potentially for La'el Collins, who's on the trading block from Dallas, the right tackle. And let's remember, the right side is the blind side for our left-handed quarterback. And yeah, my guy, Brooklyn Rob, says, I got you, Alex. I'm locked in. And he took the words right out of my mouth. We're still waiting for an offensive lineman. So here's what the Dolphins have done so far. Not only did they re-sign one of their own, I'm happy this move got made. I see some people trying to examine, are we overpaying for him? This is, I think, the price that Emmanuel Ogbah and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who is excellent at squeezing every last possible penny. That's a damn good agent. Like, this guy is going to make sure none of his clients get underpaid. He'd much rather be overpaid than underpaid. So, yeah, Emmanuel Ogbah re-signs with the Dolphins. 4-year deal worth $65 million. $32 million of that is fully guaranteed, and that was actually released by his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who let the media know. You know about his exploits the last couple of years in Miami. Emmanuel Ogbah, he's been excellent. I mean, it's no secret why the Dolphins wanted to bring him back, and obviously bringing Emmanuel Ogbah back means you don't have to focus on signing a replacement, going after the Chandler Joneses of the world. Ogbah has recorded 9 sacks in each of the last 2 seasons in Miami, 24 quarterback hits last year, 9 TFL last year, 12 passes defense last year, a forced fumble recovery back in 2021. So he had a really productive year, has a really productive 2 years in Miami. And so, okay, that was the internal move. That was the guy that the Dolphins are bringing back, re-signing. The Dolphins have, at the time that we say this, and I did see this, by the way, Brooklyn Rob. So this is offensive lineman news, not related to the Dolphins, but it's always related to the Dolphins because there's a trickle-down effect, right? The fact that guard Brandon Scherf is signing. You say is signing because it's not official yet, but he is planning to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That does take one of the Dolphins' options away, right? Because Scherf was one of those unrestricted free agent offensive linemen that we've been talking about. Another one of those, by the way, who we are not getting, and this is the Tom Brady effect, center Ryan Jensen, who is set to be an unrestricted free agent from Tampa Bay. You get the Brady unretirement news last night that he's not even 2 months, 40 days I saw. I was going to say 2 months retired. Maybe it was 2 months from the original Adam Schefter tweet, and it was 40 days. So this Tommy Brady, he goes home, does some chores, spends some time with his kids for 40 days. He decides, you know what? This retirement life ain't for me. Let's fucking go. He said LFG. He tagged his tweet. He's back for unfinished business in Tampa. So with Tom Brady re-signing, well, not even re-signing because he's still under contract, with Tom Brady coming out of retirement to return to Tampa, that means center Ryan Jensen not going anywhere. He is remaining with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're seeing a couple of the offensive linemen that aren't coming. But as far as outside free agents coming in, Dolphins make what I feel to be an excellent move, bringing in Chase Edmonds, free agent running back from Arizona. And I'll tell you why I think it's an excellent move. And I'd like to know if you guys feel the same way. Because, again, I love how when free agency starts, all of you are CPAs. Like every one of you becomes, oh, wait, could Stephen Ross have saved like 42 cents by signing this different contract? Like we worry so much, and I'll put myself into there because, you know, we all end up kind of examining and putting the prices under a magnifying glass. And I got to remind you guys, free agency, everybody overpays, especially on day one. Like if you want to get those premier players, everybody's going to overpay to get the top at various positions on day one. And then days 2, 3, 4, weeks 2, 3, 4, the money starts to dry up and then you find the bargains. But I don't want the Dolphins to be shopping in the bargain basement. Like this team, they need serious help, we know, on the offensive line, tackle and guard. They need serious help at wide receiver, but they also need serious help at running back. The Dolphins didn't have, outside of Duke Johnson for a few weeks, and he's a free agent, by the way, the Dolphins didn't have a true, legitimate number one option at running back this past year. You have that now in Chase Edmonds, and I think it's an excellent move. So he just finished out his rookie contract in Arizona, very productive player. He's signing a 2-year, $12.6 million deal, just $6.1 million guaranteed. So less than half of that money is guaranteed. If, God forbid, he doesn't have a very good year this year, you know, you don't lose that much if you decide to cut bait. And this is another Drew Rosenhaus client. So it's been a busy day for Drew Rosenhaus with the Miami Dolphins, right? Because he's Ogba's agent. He's also Chase Edmonds' agent as well. And here's the thing. Not only is Chase Edmonds a productive running back when it comes to RPO and a very productive running back in open space, and I think he's going to fit with the Dolphins' blocking scheme really well. Really good player downfield. You look at some of his numbers last year. Played 12 games last year, started 11 of those, 116 carries, 592 yards, 43 catches for 311 yards. He's a productive receiver out of the backfield as well. His yards per carry average last season, excellent. 6th in the National Football League last year with 5.1 rushing yards per attempt. So I think this is an excellent number one option. Some of you amateur accountants out there are like, wait, did we overpay by $1 million over the 2 years? But that's number one. This is a productive player who I think fits this blocking scheme. Number two, another reason why I think this is a great deal for the Dolphins, very few know Chase Edmonds and his abilities better than Mike McDaniel. He knows firsthand how good Chase Edmonds is. Same division last year, NFC West. McDaniel coaching the 49ers, Edmonds on Arizona, facing him twice a year. Mike McDaniel has seen this player up close firsthand and knows not only is this a very good player and a player that can elevate our backfield. The Dolphins still need more at running back, by the way. I don't want this to be the only thing that they do, right? If you draft somebody or sign like another tier 2 free agent, you need more at this position added than just Chase Edmonds. But I think this is an excellent start. This is the guy I'm expecting to be the featured back now in this Mike McDaniel offense. And Mike McDaniel knows better than most just how good this guy is, can be, and how well he's going to fit that system. So I like this move a lot. I think coming out of the gate, active, first couple of hours of the legal transferring period, the legal tampering period, I should say. First couple of hours, you re-sign your guy in Emmanuel Ogba, which I think was the right move to make, and you sign Chase Edmonds, which is awesome. You know, another offensive lineman, domino that fell into place earlier. Hello, TH from the 203. Hello. This is funny, by the way, from Welch. Jesse Davis for prison 2022. Oh, that'll be the first time he ever sees a block in his life when they put him in the cell block. Boom. That was terrible. I apologize for that. That was really, really bad. Another offensive lineman who's not coming here is guard Alex Kappa, who, I mentioned Ryan Jensen staying in Tampa Bay. Alex Kappa did leave Tampa Bay. He's going to sign in Cincinnati for 4 years, $40 million. So, yeah, we're going to look at the tackles and guards. And by the way, In about 6 minutes, we're going to be joined by Alfredo Arteaga from 3 Yards Per Carry. He's going to join us. So we're going to go through the biggest needs, the best offensive tackles out there. I'm on Teron Armstead watch today. Teron Armstead, that is the guy that I want. I know he's going to be expensive, but sometimes if you want nice things, if you want a Lamborghini, you're going to have to pay a lot for it, right? If you want an elite offensive tackle, you're going to have to pay a lot for it, maybe about $20 million per season. But I think the juice would be worth the squeeze on that one. So, yeah, I wanted to get into some over the weekend stuff as well. Then we're going to get back to the present and future. Let me take a quick dive into the last couple of days, and then when Alfredo joins us, we'll take a look at the present and future. We will predict the immediate future for the Dolphins. But man, a lot has happened since my show Friday, and I know I got a couple of tweets over the weekend, like, man, you should do a live episode today, and talk about the Deshaun Watson stuff and the Tom Brady stuff. And where Amari Cooper's going to end up. Not here. He ends up in Cleveland, by the way. So hopefully the Dolphins don't regret not making that deal if they could have gotten it done for a 5th or a 6th round pick. But some of the things that have happened since I signed off this past Friday, just a couple of hours after I got off on Friday, a grand jury declined to indict Deshaun Watson. So the criminal questions are behind him, even though civil matters are not behind him yet. And I know what some of you want to hear and some of you don't. So I guess the ones who don't want to hear this will be happy to hear what I'm about to say. I think the Dolphins are legitimately not in for Deshaun Watson. I know that's great news to some of you, terrible news for others of you, but they don't seem to be in. I think it's going to come down to New Orleans and Carolina, who are both the teams that are actually on the phone making offers right now. We also had, Amari Cooper traded to the Browns. Tom Brady, after 40 days, unretiring. He's got unfinished business in Tampa. The legal tampering period is open. So a couple of can we still go after Watson, Alex? We can, but we're not, is what I'm telling you. Like, of course the Dolphins could still go after Watson. But not only did Chris Greer say a couple weeks ago at the Combine that we're out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, they're not doing anything. Like, the Dolphins are not that good at keeping leaks plugged. If they were making that phone call, somebody would be reporting it. Not even Mike Florio, who was like desperate for Deshaun Watson to get traded to the Dolphins, is even reported. It's not happening, man. It's all quiet on that front. They can go in for him, but they're not, and they won't, okay? The Panthers and Saints are, and they plan on meeting with Watson soon. They've actually offered trade deals to Houston already. So, Houston, of course, Deshaun Watson's leverage comes from essentially being able to pick where he'd rather be because he's got the no trade clause. Houston's leverage would be hoping as many teams get in on the bidding war so that they can try and drive up the price. So we'll see what happens there. The Seahawks are also reportedly interested. They certainly have enough draft picks to make that trade after what they just received for Russell Wilson. And okay, there's obviously a lot to unpack here with Watson. First thing, I know full well that getting cleared of criminal charges by a grand jury does not necessarily mean he didn't do anything wrong, and it doesn't mean he's a great guy. So there are two different types of arguments you can have when it comes to Deshaun Watson. You can have moral arguments, personal judgments you may have about him, and then you can also have the logical argument of, okay, now he's essentially got a green light to be traded. Any team that acquires him is going to know he could still face lawsuits. He could still potentially face discipline by the NFL, by the way. I think that discipline would have been much worse if he had been indicted by a grand jury, but there's still a chance he could be suspended if the NFL hears some of the stories that these women are telling and decides there's probably at least some truth to that. But still, his biggest hurdle has been cleared. Out of all the hurdles Deshaun Watson has to clear, not getting indicted, not getting charged criminally was a huge hurdle for him to clear, okay? I still find it very odd, and I know the reasons why, but it looks odd that the Miami Dolphins were interested, and they admitted this, they were interested in Deshaun Watson when he had criminal complaints pending, and now they're uninterested in him when he cannot be convicted of a crime. So that inconsistency is so Dolphins. Now, two things have changed, okay? Number one, and this is why they're no longer interested, two reasons in my eyes, and neither of these are the end-all, be-all, but they're part of it. Number one, Brian Flores was his biggest advocate. Now Flores is gone. I don't think Flores was the only person in that front office who wanted Deshaun Watson, but he was the biggest advocate. He's out of the picture now. Number two, I also strongly believe, that Chris Grier does not want to bring another black cloud over his team or any negative PR for going back in on Watson. Right? I think Grier, I'm sure Stephen Ross, everybody realizes that it looked messy. Like the way that the Dolphins handled the questions, and some of that was on Brian Flores, but Chris Grier, same thing. The way that they handled whether or not they were going after Watson last fall than they admitted they were. It was a big time distraction, and I don't think that they want to create that again. And hey, maybe Grier doesn't want to hurt Tua's feelings. Maybe he wants Tua to feel really wanted. So those, to me, are the two biggest reasons why the Dolphins are out of it. Personally, I think it would be reasonable if the Dolphins place a phone call to Houston to at least kick the tires a little bit. When you have an elite quarterback available in a trade, because we know he is available, and a quarterback currently on your roster who isn't elite, I hope he can be someday, but he's not elite right now. I think you owe it to yourselves to at least kick the tires and find out what it would take to get the player here. If you decide at the end of the day that the trade compensation that they're asking for is too expensive, and maybe you're still uncomfortable, which is fair, with the lawsuits against Watson, that you decide not to make this move. But I feel like you owe it to yourself, to your team, and your fans to at least do a little bit more due diligence on this and get a price quote. Now, the Dolphins, again, do not seem to be doing that. The Dolphins, for better or for worse, have completely turned the page on this. Here's the positive. If I'm going to look at the Dolphins side of it, there is a positive. And how about that? I'm going to say something positive, at least kind of positive, about Tua Tagovailoa. You've got an inexpensive quarterback on his rookie deal. So you get to spend more money on other positions to make the entire team better. Okay, that's intriguing, but it's up to the Dolphins over the next several weeks to sign these important free agents. You got Chase Edmonds in. You've got Emmanuel Ogbah back. We need now to go after offensive line, man. We need to, I don't know, Martina. Hopefully they're making the offers right now. Oh, come on, Q. You know what I meant with Black Cloud. A rain cloud, a storm cloud. Oh, man. The Watson soap opera is over, Martina says. Yeah, maybe I should just move on from it. But I will say one more thing about it, okay? I will say one more thing about it. When I see, and I don't want to name any names, because even though I'm defending these people, I don't even want to, put it out there for any negativity. But I see some other content creators in the Dolphin space, and there are some very good ones, by the way, writing tweets, social media posts that they're talking about Deshaun Watson strictly from a football standpoint. You don't need to necessarily attack these people and accuse them of supporting sexual assault. I don't think that that's anyone's intention here when they discuss Watson as a football player, because it goes back to what I said at the top. He's been accused of some really, really horrible things, okay? And it's bad, okay? He's been accused of some really, really bad things. Now, factually, he's not getting charged criminally. Personally, I'm very careful these days when I talk or tweet about Deshaun Watson, especially tweeting, because on Twitter, it's so easy to take tweets out of context and assume something about a person, okay? I prefer to have long-form discussions on this show where I can explain my context, and I'm very thankful for this platform. So I think that there are certain people in the Dolphins content creation space who, talk about Deshaun Watson being like a top 5 or a top 10 quarterback, and they're not necessarily discussing the allegations, and people assume the worst about them. Alex M says the Watson drama was one of the climaxes of last season. Yeah, the 7-game winning streak was nice, but the Watson drama was up there. But just a spoiler alert for everybody out there. He's going to be traded, perhaps within the next few days, if not the next couple weeks. It's not going to be to Miami, so get it out of your system, right? If you didn't want him here and you don't want him here, it's going to be a great time for you because Deshaun Watson is not coming here. If you do want him, you need to taper your expectations to 0 because it's not happening, man. It is not happening. What do you guys think, by the way? Oh, hold on. Oh, Laken Tomlinson to the Jets? Down goes another option. He's a guard. Oh, man. So, okay. we're seeing so many O linemen. Like we've seen Jensen staying in Tampa. Who was it that's going to Jacksonville? Tomlinson now to the Jets. So it's Teron Armstead or bust, right? I mean, the Dolphins need to go out there for Teron Armstead. Says Pittsburgh Steelers may suck for a while in exchange for those rings. Yeah, the Big Ben rings. Did you guys see who the next quarterback is going to be in Pittsburgh? They're bringing in Mitchell Trubisky. Wow. Now, on the bright side, Trubisky, who I think is 28 years old, so obviously he's way, way, way younger than 40-year-old Big Ben Roethlisberger was before he retired. But Trubisky's going to be a little bit better probably than Roethlisberger was last year when the guy couldn't move. But yeah, I like the Dolphins quarterback position better than the Steelers quarterback situation right now. I mean, they still got Mason Rudolph there in Pittsburgh. Trubisky's going to be, I think, the presumed starter there. I would take Tua and whoever over Trubisky and Mason Rudolph at this point. But yeah, Mitch Trubisky, a Steeler. That's gonna be a tough one for those fans. Now, I think Pittsburgh, though, to be fair to them, they're actually pretty bullish on Trubisky if used the right way because he's got some mobility, can make some good throws on the run, and they didn't use him right in Chicago. So this is one of those things where maybe Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin feel like they have this magic formula there for how to use him the right way. Hopefully that's the same magic formula that Mike McDaniel is going to have for Tua Tagovailoa, that he called him from the plane. My job is to bring out the greatness in you. Hopefully we have the weapons and the defense. Yeah, we just don't have the quarterback. Or no, sorry, we don't. That was a Freudian slip. We don't have the offensive line is what I need to say. Oh, man. QBs die in Chicago. Absolutely. I mean, Justin Fields looks terrible there. Trubisky looked awful there. I'm trying to locate Alfredo Arteaga. He was scheduled to join me at 2:00. It's now 2:06, so we're going to find him. A couple of people writing in the chat that even over Armstead, they would like to trade for Lyle Collins from Dallas, who is available for a trade. I like him a lot. Obviously he's a right tackle, not a left tackle, but right tackle is actually the blind side for the Dolphins quarterback. And maybe you can get both. Like if you could get Teron Armstead and Lyle Collins, all of a sudden you're like, okay, what was arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL last year? Actually, statistically, they were the worst offensive line in the NFL last year. Suddenly looks like one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. If you could get Collins and Teron Armstead, if I could be so greedy. But yeah, Barry Jackson wrote in the Miami Herald last night or early this morning, the Dolphins are among teams that have expressed interest in Cowboys offensive tackle Lyle Collins, who's being shopped in trade talks and could ultimately be released. And the interest is mutual, he says. The Dolphins plan to pursue multiple players to upgrade their offensive line, and Collins is among those on their radar, with a few other teams also in the mix. Jacksonville is among other reported suitors. But Jacksonville just made a signing today, so they're probably out of that. So yeah, that's another one that we have to watch. And he's making $10 million is Collins in 2022. We got plenty of money to make that happen if we want to. Speaking of plenty of money, this one, I know that I said earlier, I don't like to get caught up too much in the math because there's some context lost there. When you see some of the big contracts being handed out to free agents, number one, a lot of people ignore the actual guaranteed money, which is really what the contract is, because, fully guaranteed deals are extremely rare in the NFL. Like, you're usually looking at what's the guaranteed number. And also, you forget about the different cap gymnastics the teams can use, whether it be paying more upfront or less upfront to manipulate the numbers to create more cap space. So I think people look at how many years is on the deal, how much money they make it over the deal, and, we're going to be over the cap and this, that, and the other. I think there's a lot of context that gets lost there. But at the same time, if the Dolphins go after J.C. Jackson, who is one of the best players available in free agency, the cornerback from New England, he is elite, would be very expensive. His projected market value, at least according to Spot Track, is $20 million per season over his next deal, probably a 4 or 5 year deal. So yes, if you sign him, you're likely saying goodbye to Byron Jones, but upgrading from Byron Jones to pair J.C. Jackson with Xavier Howard. So you are strengthening a strength, right? Because cornerback is already one of the strengths of your team. I'm fine with making something that's a strength even stronger, because you would make your cornerback group absolutely elite. But that's a lot of money to spend, even for me, when you're talking about a position that's not of the utmost need, right? Because you're already pretty good in the defensive backfield. The areas where you're not good, offensive line. Now you've addressed running back here. With the guy who's probably going to be your featured back next year in Chase Edmonds. That's excellent. So, and I think they're going to draft a running back as well, or maybe sign a lower tier free agent. I don't think they're done at the running back position. Maybe they bring somebody back like Duke Johnson or Phillip Lindsay. And you need to address wide receiver as well, because you can't have Jalen Waddle on an island for every game. So I think if you were to spend big time money on J.C. Jackson, I think that may be too much of a glamour signing. Like I'm all for getting best players available, but you do have to realize that your defense is already really good. Your offense is the one that needs the renovations, right? Like the defense just needs a few touch-ups here and there, a little touch-up paint. The offense needs like the full overhaul, man. Let me read some of the comments here. Let's see. Mitch Trubisky will shine in the Berg. He might. I'm telling you, they're actually, unlike Chicago, which somebody mentioned, it's where like quarterbacks go to die. I'll call it the quarterback graveyard. Like Chicago is like the quarterback graveyard. At least Pittsburgh, from what I understand, Pittsburgh sees kind of how you need to make this guy move, and he can throw on the run. He's mobile, talking about Trubisky, and Chicago just did not play up to his strengths whatsoever. Cut Jesse Davis and send him to Shanghai. Just deport him, right? don't even allow him. Excommunicate him from Dade County, Broward County. Make him leave the state of Florida. Just make him leave the country. Make him leave the country, man. Level 2 noob says we don't have a quarterback. Well, factually, we don't have a backup quarterback. So the Dolphins are going to be signing a quarterback in free agency, and I believe it will be in free agency because they want a veteran. Like they don't want the backup quarterback to Tua to be somebody that they draft. Like maybe in like the 7th round, they take a flyer on somebody to kind of put him on the practice squad and see if he could be like a future project, or maybe they pick up like a undrafted free agent as a camp body. But no, I think that the actual backup quarterback next year is going to be someone with a handful of years at least of NFL experience. So I think the Dolphins will be signing a quarterback. It will not be someone who's going to take Tua's job and probably not even compete for Tua's job. So there is that. This is great. Maybe Greer sprung back instead of forward. Forgot to set those clocks ahead, huh? Why do we do that, by the way? Like, can anyone give me a real answer? Like, every time I've asked anyone, why do we actually still do daylight savings? They give me something about the farmers. Like, I don't know any farmers. Like, I think I've met one farmer in my entire life, a kid I went to high school with who lived down in Homestead. His family had like a bunch of acres. He had a farm. I don't know what the hell they grew. Potatoes, onions, I don't know. I have no idea I've known one farmer my entire life. And you know what? He didn't have a strong opinion on daylight savings. So I don't get why it's a pain in the ass. I love to fall back when you get the extra hour of sleep. I had a failed bid for president of the United States in, I think it was 2016 when I tried to run. I had a failed bid for president of the United States because my entire campaign platform was, instead of falling back and springing forward, and instead of abolishing time changes altogether, my idea was to fall back twice a year. Some scientists came at me like, well, you can't actually do. I wanted to fall back twice a year. Can you imagine? Because you have the one Sunday where you gain an hour of sleep. It's the best thing ever. Then you've got another Sunday months later where you lose an hour of sleep. That sucks. My idea was to fall back twice. Scientists told me it can't be done or it shouldn't be done. I don't understand why not. I will run again in 2024 if I have to, just to run on this platform. All right, we're gonna bring on. Oh, this is one of my favorites on the network. Alfredo Arteaga from right when he's. Am I back? I don't know what the hell happened there. The whole system glitched. What is this, folks? Is this the elites, the globalists? You have to understand we're about to drop too many truth bombs on which offensive lineman the Dolphins should go after, and all of a sudden you got George Soros is out there, Hillary Clinton. They're monitoring our internet. They just kicked us off. Like for a second, I don't know if you saw what happened there, Alf. I had just brought you up. StreamYard booted you, and then right when I was about to complain, they booted me as well. So everybody's getting booted. Can you hear me and see me, sir?
Yeah, all I saw was a sign on my screen that said something went wrong by directive of the lizard people of the globalists Illuminati, which I thought was strange, to see that on your screen. You know what I mean? But as soon as we're done here, I'm going to get this laptop and set it on fire.
Yeah. Well, and no, I don't think it's you. I think it's the globalists, because the same thing happened to me. And my laptop is not in any way, shape, or form connected to your laptop. We're on different Wi-Fi. I'm actually hard connected.
But they're both obviously compromised.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like we have to dunk them into a pool or spray them with alcohol, or I don't know. We just got to figure out what Alec Jones does with his, and just do that. Because that was weird. That was
I need to get what do they call those air-gapped computers that have never connected to the internet before? So I've got to buy a new laptop every day to connect for the first time. I got to get VPN so they think I'm in Slovenia or something when I'm really in Miami, Florida. We're going to figure out how to work our way around this. Is there any bomb you can drop for us, Alf, on the near future? Like, we're all on offensive lineman watch. We're all on Teron Armstead watch. Do you think the Dolphins will be agreeing with an O-lineman today?
I would hope so. I do know they're in on a couple. I don't think that they've lost out on anybody. I do know that they touched bases with Ryan Jensen, and that didn't go too far. And as you saw, Tom Brady decided to come back for his 85th season, and Ryan Jensen said, "I'll be right there with you, buddy." So, Ryan Jensen didn't make the market, and the Bengals moved on pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of leaves them with a pretty wide open field. Speaking of the Dolphins, for a center, Ben Jones of the Titans is out there. Brian Allen of the Rams is out there. Both would be massive upgrades at center. But you got to think that they're concentrating on two pieces as of right now. Teron Armstead trying to hash that deal out. I'm told it's going to be pretty hefty, but they're going to hold the line, let's just say. I can give you some numbers if you want them.
Please do, because I looked at his spot track market value, and it's like in the 20 million range. What do you think it would cost per season? That is, what do you think it would cost to get Armstead here?
Well, the number I was given was 90 million for 4 years, and 55 to 60 of it guaranteed. Now, if you read between the lines, you could see how there could be an issue there as far as a fifth year, where he could hold out for a fifth year. And you would think, okay, what's a fifth year? Why does a fifth year matter, when it's all funny money toward the end of a deal? Well, a fifth year could mean an extra 15 million guaranteed. And $15 million is worth fighting for, right?
Yeah.
So if those numbers are correct, I would say they're probably $15 million apart on Armstead. Now, La'el Collins, they are in on La'el Collins. That's a trade deal.
Yeah.
The longer it goes, the more I would worry about it. The other one that I am worried about, and I'm worried about it today because I expected this one to be done pretty quickly, was former Raiders captain Alec Ingold, fullback. Dolphins are in on him. They do have Patrick Ricard as a backup plan, but I'm told that Alec Ingold is target number one. The longer that goes today, they probably lost out to the Packers. He played at Wisconsin. He was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The luck, right?
You would think though somebody born in Green Bay would understand the value of getting far, far away from Green Bay. So maybe we'll have that going for us.
So as soon as I heard the Dolphins, the Raiders cut, as soon as the Raiders cut Alec Ingold, I was thinking to myself, you know what, this is obviously a pretty good signing if they can get it done.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I did hear the Dolphins are really, really in on him. The problem was the Packers are also in on him. And very brief research shows you he played at Wisconsin, was born at Green Bay. So the longer that goes, pencil him in as a Packer.
Okay, let's talk about the deals the Dolphins have already made. Re-signing a player, signing a player. Let's start with Chase Edmonds. I like, and I know a lot of people, as they'll do with every signing, they'll break down the amount of money given. As a player, I think this is a really good choice. I think he's going to fit the scheme well, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Mike McDaniel, who watched him play in person twice a year, probably realizes how good Edmonds is and how good he's going to be for this system. So the deal that the Dolphins have agreed to him is for 2 years, $12.6 million, 6.1 million fully guaranteed. So in terms of both the player and the money, do you like this move? Is there anything you would have done differently here?
He's highly productive. He fits perfectly, and he's part of one of the roles that they would have to fill as far as the running back group. I heard a lot of people, hemming and hawing over the money, but think about it this way, okay? If they had announced $8 million for 2 years with 4 guaranteed, you would be fist pumping and talking about how Chris Greer put on a ski mask and robbed the market, right? But now, since it's 2 for 12, you're talking about $2 million, right?
Yeah.
So if we're really going to worry about $2 million, which is roughly about 0.8% of the cap, you're worrying about the wrong things. So yes, they slightly overpaid, but they just made sure to get their guy, and they got their guy. They wanted Chase Edmonds. They wanted to lock him up early, and they did.
By the way, a couple notes people have been passed down, and I said this to our viewers earlier. Since I'm a little distracted doing the show, you guys may see stuff before I see stuff. So if you see a deal get done, please flash it in the chat, because there's a good chance you guys are going to see it before me. And now that I'm distracting Alfredo's attention, you may see stuff before him as well. Like you were talking about Ben Jones. A bunch of people put in the chat that the Titans kept Ben Jones. Down goes that option. Not that this guy, I love him. He wasn't too high on my radar.
And there it is. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Ben Jones stays with the Titans, 2 years, $14 million. That the Dolphins didn't compete there is a problem. Yeah. But then again, a day ago, everybody was talking about Emmanuel Ogbah going to get $20 million from the Jets or the Broncos or the Bears, and he re-signed for the same numbers we had reported on OnlyFins in December.
That's right. And on that move, and I saw the OnlyFins thing. So yeah, we'll definitely, and I'll let you plug that again before you go, because you guys are on top of a lot of this shit. Like a lot of this stuff you guys have before the general public has seen it. You did mention something on Twitter. Context is not my strong point, so I don't know if this means you didn't like the deal or you're suspicious about the deal. That they in all capital letters, they paid Emmanuel Ogbah. Did they overpay?
No, they got him right at market.
Yeah.
They got him for exactly what they wanted to get him for. They started negotiating this deal in July. They felt really, really good about this. And during the season, there was a pause just for the season, because, usually teams don't like to sign big money deals and start handing out checks for guarantees in the middle of the season. And then the guy blows out a knee. And then, what did you do? What did you do yourself, right? But as soon as the season was over, they, re-met and felt really good about a deal in the $60 million for 4 with 30 guaranteed range. They ended up right where they started. So I think Drew went out there, tested the market, and saw, okay, this is the market. And Emmanuel Ogbah really wanted to be here. He had told everybody who would listen, yes, I want to return to the Dolphins. If we're on that deal, if it weren't for Drew Rosenhaus doing his job and doing it well, I think Emmanuel Ogbah would have jumped at that first offer in December and signed the $60 million for 4 deal. They ended up at the same exact place. It's just good business. It was a good deal. Everybody should be happy with that one.
Now, I got a couple more things to ask you, including I want to flash this on the screen because I disagree with this one completely. 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns in his career. We already have Chase Edmonds on the roster. His name is Myles Gaskin. Like he's so much better than Myles Gaskin, man.
Yeah, he's a whole new level. It's like if they're playing different sports.
Yeah.
Okay, Chase Edmonds has a career 4.7 yards per carry. Okay, this past year was 5.1, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And everybody's, but he's not durable. He only gets like 180 carries. Well, guess what? He's going to have about 180 carries this year too. Okay. There's going to be another running back. Who knows who it could be? Maybe it's Duke Johnson. They still have that offer on the table, I believe. I don't think they've pulled it. Maybe Duke Johnson returns, and that's your RB1 and RB2 right there. That's a pretty good RB1 and RB2. You draft a rookie, and that's your running back room. You round it off at the end of the room with Savon Ahmed. What's wrong with that? It's a pretty decent room. So, they're not the same guy. I would expect Gaskin to not be for long in this system, especially. But, yeah, he's not Edmonds.
So we've talked about offensive tackle and guard and center, for that matter. We've talked about running backs. The Dolphins did go out and grab Chase Edmonds. What about wide receiver? Who would you look at that position?
Well, I know for a fact that they're in on Green Bay wide receiver Marquez Scantling. But the problem with him is he's going to be expensive. And I think if he's too expensive, they're not going to be involved for very long. Okay. They had cursory interest in Amari Cooper, and I'm glad that they did have some interest in Amari Cooper because, in my opinion, I had explained this, you tend to blow up your plans for guys like that. I think Amari Cooper is a borderline Hall of Famer, and if he continues on this path for the next 5 years, he's going to be a receiver with about 13,000 yards receiving and 80 touchdowns. Does that get you into the Hall of Fame? Maybe, probably, right? So I think you should bid on guys like that in their prime. But, evidently, they're not touching his deal in Cleveland. So that made the Dolphins a no play. They're not going to pay a wide receiver $20 million a year.
Right. So they were essentially hoping he would get released, not
right. And then they were hoping they could go bottom feeding and then try to play the hey, come home card, which maybe works. You never know. Differences in taxes from Ohio to Florida is very, very little. So Amari Cooper makes out with every single dime he had coming to him.
So on the way out, let me ask you: Have you guys being 3 yards per carry? And I love your show. If you're a Dolphins fan and you haven't already subscribed to it, don't waste another second. You just pull up your phone right now, subscribe to 3 yards per carry. Have you guys recorded an episode yet since the Deshaun Watson update with the grand jury? Because knowing you, Simon, and Chris, that discussion I know is going to be lit. Now, Alf, I know that we still had some people in the chat who had hopes that the Dolphins could still make that move. A lot of people who do not want them to make that move. It's not happening. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. But have you guys recorded an episode since the grand jury? Because Twitter has been crazy.
No, we're trying to encompass everything that we can as far as free agency into our next episode. So we'll probably drop Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, to get a better lay of the land.
Nice.
Since the new league year starts on Wednesday. But no. And as far as Deshaun Watson, you've noticed what his market is as of this moment. And it's kind of shrinking, and we're back to where we kind of started, in October, which is Carolina's probably the front runner, and New Orleans is going to make a run at it.
Yeah. And do you really think 1,000% the Dolphins are completely out, or are there lies being told?
No, they're completely out.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're operating as if they're completely out, including these first two deals. We haven't gotten the information yet, but I would suspect that Emmanuel Ogbah is going to get a pretty large second-year payment. So they're going to try to save some money on this first year. And if they do that, that kind of would have precluded a big money quarterback anyway, because you would have a pretty large cap charge in year 2 of Emmanuel Ogbah's contract. Now let's see what it is that they're actually doing. But think about it with Emmanuel Ogbah's deal. If they front loaded a lot of it, or if what I suspect they did is probably put a pretty large number in year 2, that precludes having a $40 million a year or $28 million a year quarterback. So especially since they're in on Armstead, there's just so much money to go around.
They better get him. They better get him, Collins, or both. I would take a both. Alfredo Arteaga, make sure
I think that's their plan.
I think so too, yeah.
I think that's their plan. Their plan is, I think that they were exploring some of these guards, but it seems like they didn't fight too hard for them. And it looks like James Daniels, who's a really nice guard, is going to be extremely expensive as well. So I would say that that's their plan. Their plan is Armstead and Collins, and let's hope they don't strike out both ways, right?
I know. I reserve the right to be pissed if they strike out on both. Alfredo, thank you so much. You guys want to make sure you check out OnlyFins, which is your I was gonna say your OnlyFans page. It's a Patreon, but OnlyFins is one of the best names out there. And of course, listen to Alf on 3 yards per carry. But how do people subscribe to OnlyFins?
You can go on Patreon and just put OnlyFins, and you could find it right there. It's only $3 a month, and you're gonna get a lot of information. You're gonna get to be able to speak to like-minded Dolphin fans. Think of it as Twitter without the BS, right?
Whoa, so that sounds like utopia.
Yeah, it pretty much is, because we tend to police it pretty well, and everybody who's in there is not is not, let's just say, Twittering.
Okay, I love it. Well, great stuff, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you, Donno.
Twitter without the BS. I can tell you, like, I enjoy the BS. I do. People get so rattled on Twitter. It's very, very hard to offend me on Twitter. Sometimes people get nasty in the replies, and it's like it was what I was talking about earlier. Like I think, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, like Alfredo and I said, he's not coming to the Dolphins. But like, I think it's pretty disgusting the things Deshaun Watson has been accused of, and just because the grand jury decided not to indict him. That means they didn't have enough evidence. It doesn't necessarily mean he didn't do any of these things, right? Like, I don't know what he did and what he didn't do. I wasn't there. I don't pretend I know, but he's been accused of some really disgusting things. And that's why I don't talk a whole lot, at least not anymore, on Twitter about Watson, because without context, people are going to take it the wrong way. Like I've seen some good Dolphins content creators out there say certain things about Deshaun Watson, the football player, and then get accused of like supporting sexual assault. It's like, what, you can't make that leap. Like, there's football discussions and out of football discussions to be had. So it's why, like, Twitter can definitely be full of BS. So that's why OnlyFins, go to Patreon and search OnlyFins, and you can get Twitter without the BS. Oh man, I love it. So yeah, we're on offensive tackle watch. I must be the unluckiest person ever. Maybe it goes back to me being the mush. I tend to mush breaking news. Like, there was one major time, and it was very interesting, when breaking news happened during my hour plus that I do here. Sometimes I go an hour, sometimes I go 90 minutes. We had the Brian Flores lawsuit drop, a couple months ago, whenever it was, while I was in the middle of a show. And then we had breaking news to talk about. Lately, I've had this curse where the breaking news is coming out like right after I finish. It happened with the Deshaun Watson grand jury last week. We're not finished yet here, so like don't be logging off. We still got a little more show to come. But with my luck, whenever I sign off, like 3 minutes later, the Dolphins are going to get an offensive tackle. Like, that's just the way these things go. In fact, if I were to sign off right now, in 3 minutes, the Dolphins would agree to a deal, 4 years, $90 million, or 5 years, $100 million with Teron Armstead. Like, it would happen like the second that I sign off, man. It would so happen. So the Dolphins did sign running back Chase Edmonds. I completely co-sign with what Alfredo said. This is not only a really productive player, but he fits the scheme perfectly. And I don't think they overpaid for him. Some people do, just because he's a running back. 2 years, $12.6 million, $6.1 million of those are guaranteed. So sometimes if you want something nice, you have to pay for it. That's just the way you look at it. Like, so many of you are these like bargain hunters where you've done the math. Here's exactly how much salary cap space we have. We need to sign 8 players at 8 different positions. I don't even care who they are, but we got to stay under the cap. It's like, no. If you want a legit number one option for this backfield, because I think Chase Edmonds fits it perfectly, you're going to have to pay a competitive wage for it. You're going to have to pay for it, right? You tend to overpay in a vacuum. You tend to overpay a little bit in free agency. And Chase Edmonds was actually the first free agent to sign for another team. So the Dolphins struck very quickly on this one. So I don't have a problem with that. I would rather get it done here than wait for the second wave and just pick up the leftovers. So I think this is a good deal. And yet, bringing back Emmanuel Ogbah, I know he's expensive, but if he didn't get that here, he would have gotten it somewhere else. And that's a really important piece because, friends, let's remember, and I think it was Hussam Patel who brought this up with me last Friday when we had Hussam on. Not only is Ogbah an excellent edge rusher, but it's also nice when you have a player that good to keep them on that same defense. Continuity is really important. So he checks off both boxes. He checks off the boxes of being a really ferocious, productive pass rusher while also being a player who knows his teammates and knows the defensive system. You kept the same defensive coordinator, Josh Boyer, from last year. So continuity is important as well. So I think the Ogbah move was fine. I think that maybe some of the reason why people are complaining about certain things is because, they haven't signed an offensive lineman yet. Somebody, Martina, writes in, still waiting for our first O lineman. Come on, Greer, get it done. I'm sure they're working on it. Armstead, and you notice I did this earlier. If you go on Twitter and you type in the search, you type in the name Teron Armstead, 2 R's in Teron. You type in that name and you're going to see tweets come up in the results of fans of like 7 or 8 different NFL teams all talking about how their team is going to sign him. So there's a big market out there for Teron Armstead, right? The Saints want to keep him. Handful of other teams want him. The Dolphins want him. So I'm sure Greer is working on it. And hopefully, like Alfredo says, I would like to have them both. And the Dolphins can afford to bring in both Teron Armstead, the left tackle spot, and trade for Lyle Collins, who's going to be making $10 million next year. So it's not a huge cap number. I think the cap hit is $15 million. But they can afford both of them. They can afford Teron Armstead and Lyle Collins on the right. And if the Dolphins were to get both of them right there, I would consider this free agent period a huge success. If they miss on both of them, I'm going to be really pissed. Like, you remember what I said before the legal tampering period started, when I started my show on Friday, telling you guys, because a lot of you were like, oh, how come we didn't get Russell Wilson? Why are we not moving for Amari Cooper? Why haven't we signed this, that player, and the other? I want to sign every single player. I want to acquire and trade for every single player. I told you on Friday, be patient. Legal tampering period has not even started yet. Well, we're knee deep now into this. We're 2.5 hours into the legal tampering period. Obviously, the actual free agent year, the league year, opens up on Wednesday, but you can get a head start with the legal tampering. Like, if we end this week without making a nice big signing in the offensive line, then I will give you permission to freak out. You didn't have my permission to freak out last Friday. This Friday, if the Dolphins haven't addressed offensive tackle, then you have my permission to freak out. But I don't think we're gonna get to that point. I really don't. Oh, by the way, Curtis, thank you so much. Who do we look at backup quarterback? Mariota. I'm not. The thing is, like, and I guess I'm not too thrilled with any of the options out there. I think I like Bridgewater. Mariota. Maybe I'm so scarred because of how injury prone he's been throughout his career. He could do the job. I mean, Mariota has been around a long time. He'd be a serviceable backup. You already have an injury prone starting quarterback. I think I might be worried about an injury prone backup, but a lot of the guys out there are injury prone. Teddy Bridgewater has had serious injuries, his share of injuries. Jameis Winston, same thing. So yeah, you could do worse than Marcus Mariota. I don't think I would mind that. And thank you so much for the super chat. Told you to become a Jaguars fan. There is no hope for the Dolphins. Ray, that's a G.A. Kane fan. I love this dude, and he's a chronic. We appreciate you. Like, we're 2.5 hours into legal tampering. I'm not freaking out yet, man. I'm not freaking out yet. Hello, Brooklyn. See, thank you. I'm so glad I'm still on, and I hadn't signed off yet. And I'm gonna pull up a tweet that I can flash on the screen. He says, per Ian Rappaport, the Dolphins are getting Lyle Collins. I'm going to see what Rapp is saying about it, so I know what the compensation might be, because you got to get him from the Cowboys in a trade. So let me just pull up Ian Rappaport's Twitter account. So that's huge. That is huge. And you know what? Normally, I would say huge if true, but I trust Brooklyn Rob so much, I'm going to assume it's true. Hold on. Where is this Rappaport? Has he tweeted it yet, or did he just say it on TV, Rob? Because I don't see it on Ian Rappaport's Twitter. So we will wait. We will wait for the confirmation on that. The last things that Rap Sheet has tweeted: the Jets are signing Laken Tomlinson. I like that. Good guard out of San Francisco. I kind of wondered if there would be a Mike McDaniel reunion for him. There will not be. There will be a reunion with Salah. The Titans are keeping center Ben Jones. We knew that. Something about a long snapper. Who cares? He says the Jaguars are signing wide receiver Christian Kirk. Ooh, I had not seen that. That came out 6 minutes ago. Then he writes, the Eagles have agreed with Hassan Reddick. So that is obviously... Oh, no! Brooklyn Rob says he got duped! This is the first time Brooklyn Rob has ever been wrong. Level 2 noob said fake. Josh Ritter said fake. Oh, it was tweeted by a fake account, imposter. Oh, man. Oh, all right. So there it is. This is gonna happen. First day of free agency. It's a lot like April Fool's Day. Yeah, there's gonna be some people out there. Amateur hour, says Mr. Matt D. Brooklyn Mush. Oh, man. Brooklyn Mush. So, yeah, everybody's saying it's a fake. He says, I got duped. Fake Ian Rappaport. Sorry to jump the gun. See, I should have said big if true. Brooklyn Rob, I trusted you. Yeah, so. Yeah, last thing Ian Rappaport tweeted was about Hassan Reddick to the Eagles. So I got my hopes up. What the fuck, bro? We got duped, man. First day of free agency. It's like April Fool's Day. Some of you probably think we did that on purpose. Like, hey, they got him. So you probably think we did that on purpose. Okay, so the original statement stands. If the Dolphins miss out on both Lael Collins, who is still very much a Cowboy at this moment, and they also miss out on Teron Armstead, we are screwed. The fake accounts will not have a blue check mark, guys. Thing is, I don't even trust the blue check marks. They gave me one. They're handing those things out like parking tickets. Like, blue check mark only gets you so far. It was you, Brooklyn. You're not a brother. You're not a friend. Oh, man. See, I thought we finally had breaking news during the show. I'm going to sign off in a little bit, and then we're going to get breaking news after the show. Oh, my God. Oh, the emotions going on. People were so excited, and then all of a sudden, everybody's like, fake account. We crushed some dreams today. I'll tell you, dreams will never be crushed at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Guys, support our sponsors. The Quarterdeck. It is the official sports bar of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. This is a great place. If you head out to the Quarterdeck right now, they're going to have NFL Network on. They're going to have ESPN on. You can follow free agency. You can watch that college basketball tournament there this week at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Guys, they have every UFC pay-per-view fight for zero cover charge. You pay nothing at the door at the Quarterdeck to watch a UFC pay-per-view fight. This is the best place to watch a big game, watch a big fight, hang out with your friends, family. The drink specials, guys, they never end. At the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill, they have 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day. The food is delicious. I love the fresh seafood. I love the burgers and sandwiches. Even the salads are really good at the Quarterdeck. Head out to the Quarterdeck. If you want to find the location nearest to you or peep their menu before you go, check them out online at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. And my friends, we have an official sports book here on Donno Daily. You can even bet on futures there. Like, they'll have odds. I think Carolina, I'm sure, is the betting favorite right now. They'll have odds on the next team for Deshaun Watson. So if you feel like, hey, I think he's going to Carolina, I think he's going to New Orleans, some of you still think he might come to Miami, you can find odds for that. You can bet games in progress, NBA games, college basketball, NHL, international soccer. This is a full-service sportsbook, BetUS.com, and they have live betting on all of it. Guys, this sportsbook is available in Florida, by the way, BetUS.com. You can use the full website in Florida. If you sign up with our code, we give you the best bonus in the industry. When you make your deposit, use our code 5RSN125. Type that in, 5RSN125. You're going to make a 125% sign up bonus. They're going to give you 125%. If you deposit $100, they're going to put $125 on free play money on top of your deposit. How good is that? They also have a full casino right there on the site. You can play table games, slot games for real money. I play blackjack in there for real money from time to time. Sign up with our code 5RSN125 and find out why BetUS.com is America's favorite sportsbook. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Brooklyn Rob, thank you for the super chat. He says, find myself for fake reporting. I mushed myself. Oh my God. Oh, that was too good. And Rob, listen, Rob, if nothing else, you made the episode more interesting. So, and I appreciate the super chat. Boo this man. Boo. Maybe this is my fault. I might have mushed Brooklyn Rob. He spends so much time around my mush that it's rubbing off on him. Poor Rob. Oh, man. Jim McEwen says, can I quote a fake Schefter account? At this point, you remember when Schefter originally reported that Tom Brady retired, before he actually retired, a lot of people thought that must have been the fake Schefter. Like, Brady retiring? He really did retire. 40 days he spent retired, and now he's back. He's got unfinished business. The GM has fined Brooklyn Rob $20 for fake news. Oh, my God, this is too funny. Let's see. Oh, and I appreciate this, Mike. Smash the like button. And you know what? If you were a couple minutes ago, if you smashed the unlike button or the dislike button, unsmash that and smash the like button. It really does help us out. Not only does it boost my ego a little bit, but when you smash the like button, it gets this video and this network out to more people. The more likes we get, the more timelines we're going to show up in. So support my show, support me, support Manny, our producer, support the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And also make sure while you're at it, if you haven't already, you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. 3 cheers for Brooklyn Rob. He made a mistake and he paid for it with cash. Good man. Hip, hip, hooray. Brooklyn Rob is a man of integrity. I love that dude. Oh, he says 0 dislikes, Donno. I've got the add-on. So you're telling me there's an add-on where you can actually see how many dislikes? I've always wondered about that because a few months ago, YouTube changed their algorithm for snowflakes because there are a lot of sensitive content creators on YouTube, like people who make this video like, oh my God, I went shopping today and I filmed the entire thing. And then you post your video, there's like 100 dislikes and like 3 likes. It hurts people's feelings. So a few months ago, YouTube made it where you can only see the number of likes. And if somebody hits the dislike button, you don't even know. So apparently David has an add-on. He could see the dislikes. So I appreciate that, David. Appreciate that. Let's see. Brady said, football is the love of my life. Wife, kids, eh. Yeah, he did say that he decided retirement life is not for him, at least not yet. And it was funny because part of Brady's statement was he talked about having a very supportive family. I wonder if he was saying that to try to like butter them up a little bit. Like, we'll probably never know. She may tell her side of it when he does retire for real, but Gisele Bündchen can't be that happy about him going back to play after retiring, right? Because for years, she has wanted him to retire. She's worried about head injuries, which I think is a very reasonable thing to worry about for a wife of an NFL player being worried about head injuries. That's completely reasonable. So when Brady said in his statement, talking about his supported family, is he saying that like wishful thinking? Like, I'm so thankful my family's supportive, or Gisele and like the 50 kids that they have, are they pissed about this? I don't know. Yeah, Brady wants 10 rings, he says. I mean, he's got 7. So what's it going to take him? 3 more years to get to 10 rings? You never know. Oh, let's see. Hadn't heard that. Thank you. Who was? I don't know. I lose track of what comment is what. We're going to send the closing shout outs in a little bit here, my friends. Before we get to that, I want to remind you we have an official fantasy sports provider. And I meant to update the logo because they have a new logo since this, and I meant to update it today. We'll get to it. But guys, even if the logo is different, the website and the mobile app, it's the same. It's real and it's spectacular. PrizePicks.com. PrizePicks.com is the official and exclusive fantasy sports provider of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Guys, Prize Picks, it's so much fun. It combines my love for daily fantasy and parlays. You're locking in parlays on that site every day. You simply select a player, and you can go cross sport, by the way, right? Whether you're selecting NBA, college basketball, NHL, soccer players, baseball, Major League Baseball is going to be starting up here soon. They finally reached a deal last week. You can lock in players and predict if they're going to go over or under their fantasy projections, and you make real money. You can make 10 times your bet for getting 4 predictions correct. Prize Picks is awesome. If you haven't tried it yet, download their mobile app, which is so easy to use, or just go to their website, prizepicks.com. And when you sign up, use our code 5, F-I-V-E. That's our code at Prize Picks. Use our code 5, and they will match your deposit. Your first deposit, they will match it 100% up to $100. So you can get a $100 match on $100 deposit, and it's a lot of fun. Prize Picks truly is daily fantasy simplified. I'm glad you caught that. They're real and they're spectacular. I love Seinfeld. I've probably seen every episode at least 50 times. Like, it's a lot. Like, I also love Curb. But I don't know, maybe it's because like I grew up on Seinfeld. Like, to me, like, for as much as I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, I just think Seinfeld is more rewatchable. Because like every episode, some of them I've probably seen 100 times, but every episode I've seen at least 50 times. And I could rewatch them all day. The last episode, not so much. The 2-part, yeah, the series finale. It's hard to do a series finale. That one wasn't very good, but other than that, like, there's a lot of classics in there. Like, I love Curb. I have rewatched Curb to this point at least probably twice, but I think Seinfeld is just more rewatchable. It's just an amazing, amazing show. Same old. Well, same old Dolphins. The whole AFC getting better. We can't get a free agent because no one wants to play with it. I knew I loved Nicole. Nicole, I'm a huge fan. Yeah, listen. Tua, he's not the type of quarterback who's going to like attract, free agent receivers who are like, oh, I've got to play with that guy. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's pretty good. I don't think he'll ever be great. I hope I'm proven wrong on that one. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's not, it's not like you've got Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, where it's like that guy comes to your team or comes back to your team like Brady, and everyone's like, yep, I'm good here. I want to stay here. I want to play here. I want to come here and play with this guy. Oh, another good Seinfeld reference is Brady's wife yelling, "Serenity now!" But remember, serenity now, insanity later. Lloyd Braun lost his mind. Good old Lloyd Braun. Truth hurts, she says. Just get Watson. They're not doing it. They aren't. The Dolphins are out. The Dolphins are out. Let's see. All right, my friends, I want to let me send out more shout outs and then we'll wrap up this episode. IMAX, thank you so much. Are they playing on your screens? Are they playing the Batman? I wouldn't mind watching that on IMAX. I watched it at a regular theater, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I thought the movie was excellent. I loved the Batman. I want to watch it again. I would like to watch it on IMAX screen. Hochi Mama. That was what Frank Costanza yelled. So thank you so much. IMAX, thank you so much. Julian, any offensive line left that are solid? Well, I'm assuming Teron Armstead hasn't signed anywhere yet. Hopefully he signs here. He's fantastic. We had the little fake out with Lyle Collins, who's going to be available in a trade. I would love to get him here. Oh, Tony saw it on an IMAX. I'm sure it was excellent on the IMAX screen. And hello, Tony. Hello, Mr. Matt D. I still can't believe people are giving up on Tua after 2 years. when not long ago we were begging the Finns to lose games so we could draft him. Give him a little time. I think he's played fine so far. Well, that would be the hope, Mr. Matt, that you've got now. I still have reservations about Tua just physically, but you do have now a coach that's going to actually try to make him better, not like make him worse. Because Brian Flores did Tua no favors. Okay, so you've got now a coach that actually believes about building around him and has an offensive system that I think Tua could do a lot better in. I think Tua will be a lot better in this sort of an offense than he was in whatever the hell that was they were running the last couple of years. So that would be the hope. Listen, like the gamble you're taking here is by sticking with Tua beyond this year as your starter. You're taking a gamble of, okay, we've got a quarterback that we still think has a lot of untapped abilities. We still think he has upwards potential, who's on his rookie deal. So dirt cheap, right? I mean, we know the price of good quarterbacks in the NFL who are on their second, third contract, it's astronomical, right? So they're, you remember, and I'm not trying to compare the players, just the situations, right? You remember about, 15 years ago or so, 10 years ago about 10 years ago, when the Seattle Seahawks were the class of the NFL, they had the Legion of Boom. You had Marshawn Lynch. You had so many great players on both sides of the football because their quarterback at that time, Russell Wilson, when he was on his rookie deal, he was dirt cheap. So and Russell Wilson's a great quarterback, but the best time that he had in Seattle was the time when he was on his rookie deal, and they were fucking stacked. Like they were stacked, right? So you take that gamble you've got, and again, I'm not comparing the players because I don't expect Tua to be as good as Russell Wilson, right? But the situations, you've got an ascending quarterback on a rookie deal, so you can afford so many excellent players because after they won that Super Bowl, when those players came up to free agency, they were priced out of retaining a lot of them, right? So you have a quarterback not taking up a large portion of your cap. You can make the rest of the team so good. So then your two questions with the Dolphins would be, because they have cap space, right? Are you going to spend that money on the proper players to make you better? Are you going to draft well? And then the other part is Tua going to at least be good enough? If you have a great supporting cast around him, is he going to be good enough to win something important with this team? So it's definitely a gamble. There are pluses. Like it's great if you can have a very good quarterback. Hopefully Tua becomes that, who's on a rookie deal, and you can spend money at other parts. Then yeah, God, I hope he better. You're right. If he's not good, I hope he doesn't get 7 years like Ryan Tannehill. All right, let's throw some more shout outs. Q. Watch us. I guess he must be a. Where did I talked about Trubisky? Oh, Steelers. Yeah, I was like, wait, where did he go? Pittsburgh. He says, watch us be relevant with Trubisky. So I guess Q. I guess you're a Steelers fan. Is that what you're saying there? Let's see. Tony, I think I shouted out. Nicole, David, thank you so much. My guy Joseph, what's up to you, man? Thank you so much for watching today. Zoe Vegas 75. Yeah, Ryan Jensen re-signed with Tampa Bay. Soon as he saw Brady was coming out of retirement and says he's got unfinished business in Tampa, I will admit, the instant, I guess it was last night, right? The first second that I saw the news about Brady coming out of retirement, I was so hoping it would be Brady coming out of retirement but seeking a trade, because there were some rumblings of that, right? Within the last few weeks, a lot of people were saying that like he doesn't want to be in Tampa Bay, and like that's why the Bucks weren't like honoring kind of the handshake agreement that they had to let him go if he wanted to go. So I was really hoping that when Brady unretired, the condition would be, but he wants out of Tampa. I'm like, can we find? I will never forgive Brian Flores for refusing the yacht meeting. Didn't want to tamper. Like, how you draw the line at tampering, really? Would have loved to have Brady here for the last 2 years and then more because he's coming out of retirement now. But now apparently he's happy enough in Tampa that he's got unfinished business there. He wants to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback still. Shape match. Whoa, wow, I can't. Is this person just randomly tweeting about any sports game happening? The Hawks will win against the Blazers. Like, I mean, listen, it's sports is sports, but I haven't said one word about the Hawks and the Blazers yet. I don't know where that came from. Mike, thank you so much. And yeah, everybody, if you're on here watching us live or watching us on replay, do us a favor and smash that like button. Please do it. You know you want to do it. Andrew, I think he was begging for an offensive lineman to be signed. Jim, thank you so much. And Brooklyn Rob, even though you got duped, we still appreciate you. Find myself, he said. Thank you for the $20 donation. And honestly, that's the first time I've ever seen Brooklyn Rob get something wrong. It's just never happened before. Kupo Bear, thank you so much. Booth is man. Boo. Let's see who else. Oh, yeah, that was still Kupo. Kupo was still mad. G.A. Kane fan, thank you so much. Martina, thank you so much. James, thank you so much for tuning in. Curtis, thank you so much for tuning in. Got a lot of comments today. Josh, well, a lot of people calling out Rob. The GOAT, thank you so much. That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's watching us today. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Let's see. Who else? I'd like to shout out everybody I can. And if I miss anybody, I'm not doing it on purpose. Curtis, I already shouted you out, but thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you. I scroll through manually. I try to shout out everybody. And if I miss someone, I'm not doing it on purpose. It happens. Happens every day, probably. Mr. Buckets, thank you. On Twitter Spaces, somebody said that the Dolphins are trying to get Deebo Samuel. Listen, obviously, I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know. I don't know what the sources are in the Spaces sources. Obviously, nobody knows how to use Deebo Samuel better than Mike McDaniel, but I haven't heard anything about that. So if it happens, I will give you credit, or I'll give your space credit wherever this Twitter Spaces is. Gus, thank you so much. Yeah, he dropped the Braxton Berrios news. He's staying with the Jets, $12 million. I like Braxton Berrios so much. I'm sorry he plays for the Jets because I hate the Jets, but I love the player. He represented the University of Miami so well when he played at the U. Welch, thank you so much. Titans kept Ben Jones. Yeah, that was another domino that fell, an offensive lineman who did not come here. Man, there's a lot of chat today. I don't even know if it's going to let me scroll up the entire way. Oh, Alex M, thank you so much. He's talking about, I don't know if he was talking about daylight savings or the war in Ukraine. So is that why they did daylight savings, to extend work hours? I don't know. I thought it was for the farmers. Although I've only met one farmer my entire life, and he didn't seem to care whether it was dark or not outside. I don't know. I don't know if that was a big deal for him. Let's see. I just hate losing the hour of sleep in the spring. I would fall back twice a year. Science be damned. Fall back twice per year. You feel great because there's nothing better. It's usually in like October or November when we fall back. And when you go to bed on that Saturday night, I'm going to get an extra hour of sleep tonight, right? That 7 a.m. is going to be like old 8 a.m. So if I sleep till 7, it's like sleeping till 8. It's fantastic. There's nothing worse than this past Saturday night. You go to bed, spring forward. I'm going to lose an hour of sleep. I would fall back twice a year. I would fall back every weekend. Let's do it. Ray Grullon, thank you so much for tuning in. I love it. Finns fans are panicking as usual, he says. I say Armstead and Collins on a trade with Dallas, and I will be fine. Yeah, we were talking about that with Alfredo. I think the legitimate goal from the Dolphins, they may not achieve it, but I think they want to both sign Teron Armstead and acquire La'el Collins in a trade. G.A. Canes fan, Ray, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Level 2 noob, thank you so much for tuning in. How dare you take shots at Tua? How dare you? I would never do something like that. Oh, let's see. Scrolling. Anybody I missed? That might be it. I'm seeing a lot of repeats. Oh, here's another one. My guy Trevor. Another 2 Trevors who are in the chat most days. TH from the 203. Would Christian McCaffrey be a part of the deal for Deshaun Watson if he goes to Carolina? I'm sure Houston would ask for him. And like I'm a little bit like, I think he's obviously elite when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. So I don't know. Maybe Carol, like before his latest injury, season-ending injury, I would have said, like, hey, if Carolina's going to acquire Watson, you want to keep McCaffrey, and why would Watson want to come here, want to come there if McCaffrey is no longer there because he's such a weapon? But I don't know, man. He's always hurt. So he's like, your best ability is availability. But Houston would probably ask for him, I'm sure. Mason, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Who else do you think we get? I think this was a chat that came in earlier. I think we covered that a lot with Alfredo. And I'll remind you guys, if you missed any part of the show, the replay is available the second we go off live. Like the second we go off live, you can watch the entire video start to finish. So we had a long free agency discussion with Alfredo Arteaga from 3 yards per carry. So if you missed any part of that, go back and watch the replay. Alex Sam is asking for Big John Stud. Well, we got Alf on. Big John Stud's going to join us this week, probably Wednesday. So we will hear from Big John Stud. And Wednesday is going to be exciting because that's like the actual official open to free agency. We're in the negotiating period right now, which people refer to as the legal tampering period. But we're going to be in the legal, completely above board period in a couple of days. So that's going to be good. We're going to have on Big John Stud for that. The other Trevor Gaffney, hello. Big Dan 305, hello, my guy. And I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Guys, make sure you support our sponsors because we don't have a show without these great people out there. BetUS.com, America's favorite sports book, the 3-decade leader. Sign up with our code 5RSN125, and they will give you a 125% sign-up bonus. This is a full-service sports book, and it is available in Florida. Make sure you head out to the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Great place to watch the big games. Great place to watch every UFC pay-per-view with zero cover. Enjoy delicious food and 2-for-1 drink specials. Visit them on the web at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. Come for the food, stay for the fun, and make sure you support our official fantasy sports provider. Where is the old logo? I got to get that new logo, but prizepicks.com truly is daily fantasy simplified. All right, so I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Hopefully. Oh, yeah, I did see this, Welch. Lake and Tomlinson. Oh, no, I was, my bad. I was looking at, I thought he just sent that, but no, he sent that in like an hour ago. I was like, you're a little bit late on that one, Welch. But no, he said, I thought I was at the newest comments, but I was not. I was at the older comments. So that did come in a while ago. Yeah, you're right, Nicole. I need a Ray Finkel jersey. They make those. I remember I was at the Quarterdeck like 3 or 4 years ago. And I actually saw somebody wearing the Dolphins throwback, the ones we all love, the white throwback, but he had it with Ray Finkel on it. I think Ray Finkel was number 2, if I'm not mistaken, but whatever it was a Ray Finkel jersey. I thought it was fan. I went up and shook his hand. I had no idea who this person was. He was just somebody there to watch football, and I went up there and shook his hand. Oh, he's number 5. Okay. The fact that you remember that is kind of impressive. Ray Finkel wore the number 5. Oh, indeed. Also, thank you so much for tuning in. Center options in the draft: Linderbaum, who I love, Zion, Juergens, Strange, Tom. All right, we'll end it on that note, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for making us a part of your day. On the way out, if you haven't already, smash the like button, hit the like button, the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to 5 Reasons Sports YouTube, and keep following this free agent nonsense. And if you're watching this later on replay, forgive me if we're not up to date on every signing, because this was done in the past. We're live right now, 3:07 p.m. If you watch us after 3:07 p.m. on Monday, forgive me if I don't have the latest piece of breaking news that has not happened yet in real time. So we will talk to you guys again next week. Jesus, I'm out of it. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow on another episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.